Hello and welcome to Adventures in TV Land. For today's adventure, we've come to Springfield, Illinois to see the Lincoln Home National Historic Site. Here in Springfield, there is the site of the only home, the only house that Abraham Lincoln ever owned. And so we're going to go and check it out. Here's the visitor center. Inside the visitor center is where you get your ticket to tour Lincoln's home. The tour starts there at the visitor center watching a short film and a presentation by one of the park rangers, and then you walk over to the house. This is the original historic marker for Lincoln's home. You can see here the sidewalks are actually, it's an actual boardwalk sidewalk made of wood. Please watch your step. Boardwalks are uneven and slippery when wet.
This is what we know as the parlor room. Very appropriate that we start our tour here today because this was the formal entertainment space for the Lincolns. If you came to see them in their time, this is where they would not only greet you, but host and entertain you as their guests. Talked a little bit about those renovations inside the visitor center, but I'd like to talk about them again here because I think it's where you can see the most changes done in the home. This back half of the parlor, appropriately named the back parlor, would not have existed when the Lincolns first bought that 1.5-story cottage. This would be the first renovation that they would add onto the home. They would add this as a master bedroom, I'm assuming because they got pretty tired of going into the attic to sleep. Can't blame them. This is the room that would see the birth of those 3 children, the 3 youngest Lincoln boys, Eddie, Willie, and Tad. And unfortunately, about 4 years after Eddie's birth, it would also see the death of him. He died in that room at about 6 a.m. on February 1st after a 52-ish day-long battle with what at the time they called consumption. However, in today's science, we believe it to be tuberculosis or some sort of lung infection. That news would go in the newspaper that night, and they would hold the funeral the very next morning right here in this front half of the parlor. Right where you see that original marble top table at now, that is where his casket would have sat. I get some weird looks when I say that they held the funeral in this time period to hold those last intimate moments with a family member inside the family home. Jumping forward just a little bit to 1860, after they had moved their master bedroom upstairs, and this become what we see today, an entertainment space. Another super cool thing that happened in this room, right underneath this door frame, we believe to be where Lincoln was standing when he met with a couple of delegates from Chicago. They came here to extend him the nomination for the Republican Party for, president. So eventually we do know he would say yes because he did indeed become president. However, he would not give them that answer immediately. He told them essentially, I'll think about it. And he did for about 4 days. He reviewed the platform, made sure the Republicans really stood for what he wanted to stand for, as well as, I'm going to guess, he had to ask Miss Mary, because if she said no, there was no way it was going to happen anyway. So he went ahead and did that, and 4 days later, he would write a letter back to those same delegates accepting that nomination. And the rest, as we know it, quite literally history. We matched this style to one of the broken red pond pieces we found in the backyard during excavations. And then next to that, that big brown box that I was talking a little bit about. Does anybody know what that is? Do you have any guesses?
Is that one of those like viewers where you spin the pictures?
Yes. So for us that know what they are, that is the grandfather of the ViewMax.
Same size as Uncle Mike.
Yes, same size as you are.
Who is also 6'4", so that makes sense.
All right, welcome to the Lincoln Suite. You might notice there are 2 bedrooms here. The half that you guys are standing in is what we consider Mr. Lincoln's bedroom. Ranging comments on it. Some people are like, it's so cool, I would love to have it in my room. And some people are like, no wonder Mary had migraines. Yeah. Pretty cool story attached to this wallpaper though. We know it's the original wallpaper pattern because when we were doing renovations in the 80s, we were able to find a pretty giant batch of the wallpaper itself, hidden underneath some other layers of wallpaper and paint. It was a big enough batch that some lucky soul was able to hand trace every single detail of the wallpaper.
It's the same thing with Wizard of Oz, Witch. They used that copper face paint and she got sick.
In real paper.
Yeah, too, because they used actual aluminum to paint them.
I prefer you lean over it and set the sensor off than step onto it, yeah.
They do a good job of hiding the.
What's this? That was the voices room. Women to help around the home. Mary was alone in this house about 6 months out of the year because Lincoln would be riding the circuit. Now, I wouldn't want to take care of this house alone to begin with. However, you had the addition of those 2 rowdy boys that took about 5 people to wrangle on a daily basis. There's some, I'm not 100% sure, but with the way they're like beveled out, I wonder if they had something to do with more.
And if you are enjoying this adventure, or if you've enjoyed any of the adventures in TV land, you can help support this channel by going to either Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, or even here on YouTube, and just becoming a member for only $3 a month. You can help support the further and future adventures in TV land, as well as get your name in the credits of these videos and a postcard each month. Here in one of these houses right next to Lincoln's home, they do have kind of a museum display, including this model of the Lincoln Cottage. This is what the house looked like before all the additions were added on. The second floor and the extension in the back. Have some pieces here of china and various other artifacts that were found in the yard. There's some marbles and some china head dolls, probably belonging to Abraham Lincoln's children, in all honesty. This is one of the original door handles. And that is a mold of Abraham Lincoln's hand. Here's a placard about the Lincoln Home National Historic Site. Now, just basically a block over from where the historic block is set up of Lincoln's home, there is this sign signifying that this site here will be the future site of Lincoln's Springfield cottage. Now they want to recreate what the Lincoln house originally looked like here when Abraham Lincoln first bought the house. It was a smaller one-story cottage, and this is where they want to build that structure. And right now this lot is just that. It's like a lot. There's no trespassing, several no trespassing signs. I guess it's a parking lot for the individuals that live in this area. Well, this has been another adventure in TV land. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you disliked, hit the dislike button. Subscribe to my channel for further content and ring that bell for email notifications. If there's someplace that you would like to see me visit, leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.